So in this video, we will see how to create a develop schedule. So whenever we make a schedule, first of all, you have to make a network diagram. In the previous video, we saw what is PDM, or in the previous video, we also saw a network diagram. Same way, we will see how to create in this video. First is CPM method and second is PDM method. You can find out the free float or dates. What is critical path method? When we talk about critical path method, this is type of network analysis where activity on the node means that the activity on the node and the activity on the next node are shown by showing the arrow. And in this type of network diagram, the type of relationship is only finished to start. There is no other activity or other relationship used in this. This type of network is being followed by most of the construction and software companies. Means after one is finished, we have to start the second one. After that comes your precedence diagramming method. This is also similar to CPM. Only difference is that in this type of diagram, one time estimate is given. In this type, you get 4 different methods which we have seen in the previous video. So in this, you have start to start, finish to finish, start to finish, and finish to start. These are 4 methods which you can see in this type of diagramming method. So whenever we talk about CPM, in CPM, when we prepare the network diagram, suppose I have to prepare the network diagram for CPM. How do we create a network diagram, or what are the critical tasks in it? Suppose I have an activity A which is 5 days. Okay, its duration is 5 days. After that, its successor activity is B. Then its successor activities are 2 activities. One is C and the other is D. After that, the successor activities for both is E. The next activity is F. As we saw in the middle, the duration is 5 days. This is 3 days and this is 4 days. So this is for 4 days and this is for 2 days. If you look at this diagram, in this diagram, if my A activity is over, then my B activity will start. After B activity is over, my C and D activity should start immediately. But if for some reason, if my D activity is not started, suppose that the day those resources are going to be used, A is available means C is available, but resources are not available for D. So I started the activity late. I have started the project from first date. So till 5th means this activity will start on 6th and this activity will end on 6th, 7th or 8th. Then this activity will start on 9th and this activity will end on 13th. If you see here, if you start from 9th, then it should end on 9th, 10th and 11th. But you have 2 days extra gap here because we are not going to start this till the end of the season. So you get free float here. Free float means you get gap. You get free days to start the activity late, which doesn't matter at the start or end of the season. So this is one thing that will affect you in your entire project, from which you will know the difference. Now, if there is any activity in which we define the relationship, if the activity start on 10th instead of 9th, then this will be on 14th. But on 14th, you have to start E activity. So the activity that ends on the 14th and the activity that starts on the 14th. So you will get a gap in this. This will be 0 because of this activity in which you don't have free float available. We call this activity critical activity. And the second activity comes non-critical activity. In non-critical activity, you get free days, meaning you get a free gap of 1 or 2 days in which you can start the workout later or later. What we call this critical and non-critical activities. So when we have any resource available or not, then if we calculate or show it, then for that you have to calculate its early start or early finish date. what exactly is that? So as you can see here, early start, early finish, late start, late finish. So here you can see the values. Early start means that activity that was going to start on 15th. That is, what if it started on the 14th? What is this? Early start. Or if it is starting on the 15th, then it is early start. Early finish means that this activity was going to end on 16th, but before that, if 15th or only 16th is over, then what will happen to you? Early finish. And if you want to calculate late start and late finish, then consider that my activity was going to start on 15th, but you started it on 16th. So this is your late start. And if you want to calculate late finish, then consider that your activity was going to end on 15th, but your activity is ending on 16th or 17th. So this is called as late finish. This is your early finish and late finish. So there are some formulas for this which are used in critical path method. We will see how to use them. In this, you can see another thing, free float. What is free float? The amount of time the activity can be delayed without affecting the immediate start of successor activity, which means that A is activity and B is activity. So both these activities have 5 days duration, and along with that, here is my C activity and D activity. This is also 5 days, but this is 3 days. If I start this 3-day activity late by 1 day, then it won't make any difference to my project because it will go one more day extra. Still, you have one extra day. So, this will not have any effect. But if you start this late, then suppose it was going to start at 16th and end at 20th, same. This was also going to start at 16th and end at 17th or 18th. Okay, it has 2 days, 19 and 20. If you understand that it started at 17th, then it will end at 19th. If you start on 18th, it will end on 20th. Until it ends, your activity E cannot start. So there will be no difference. So this is your free float. And total float means that the total float value in your activities without affecting, you can change any activity or delay. So it will not affect the end date of the project in free float. It will not affect the successor activity, but in total float, it will not affect the end date. Suppose my activity will end on 25th, but you can change the activities in between. So this is called total float. So now let's understand it with an example. We will also see the formulas on the same, how they affect your project. Now I have this activity which has A, B, C, D, E, F. These are 5 activities which have a duration of 5 days, 6 days, 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, and 1 day. Okay, it has also given predecessors for A activity. There is no predecessors for A activity. It means it is starting value. After that, for B, predecessor is A. For C, B is predecessor. For D, B is predecessor. C and D is your predecessor for E, and E is your predecessor for F. So, the example of this is made here. Whenever we make a network diagram, what you have to do is how you can update it. You have different methods for that. But one method is that you have to add an activity name to it. Like I have an A activity in the circle. After that, you have to give it 2 vertical lines, parallel lines. After that, here comes your early start. Here comes your early finish. Here you will see your late start, and here you will see your late finish. Here it is your duration, and here you will see your flow. How do we calculate this? What are the formulas for this? So before that, we know what early start is. Early start means that if we are starting the activity before start date, and early finish date also comes in the same way, but late finish and late start date, what is yours? So you are starting late or you are finishing late. So we call it late start or late finish. For that, there is a formula. The formula for early start is your EF means EF. EF means early finish plus 1 early finish. EF means early finish plus 1. So this way you can calculate your values. Early start of predecessor, P means predecessor, S means successor, C means current activity. So this way you can give updates according to this. Similar formulas are there. We have to calculate this. Here I have already drawn the activities. If you want to draw the network diagram, you can do it. First, I have taken A activity. I have to calculate the early start of A activity. So, what is the predecessor of the early start of A activity? There is nothing. So, the value of the early finish will be 1. So, note down that any starting activity. For that, the predecessor or the early start date or the duration will be 1. Okay. So, after that, if we want to calculate the early start or the early finish duration, then you have two methods. One is forward method and other is reverse method, or you can call it backward method. So to calculate the early start and early finish, forward method is used. So to calculate early start and early finish, forward method is used and reverse method is used to calculate late finish and late start. So now what we will do is you have to calculate early start and early finish. Now we will see one by one calculation that will be the difference. So now my whole activity is gone. I have to calculate the early start and early finish for this activity. Okay. Or you can also calculate the duration according to the previous video. So according to that, the duration is updated, but we have to calculate the duration in early start and early finish. Okay. So in this, there are predecessors and other things already available. So now we have to calculate the early start and early finish. Early finish of predecessor plus 1. So early finish value predecessor is 1. Early start is 1. If it has not early finish, then what will be its early start? It will be 1. After that, if we want to calculate its early finish, then what is the formula for early finish calculation? Early start of current activity plus D, which means duration, which is available here, minus 1. So, what is its early start date? 1 plus D. How much is the duration? 5 minus 1. So, this will be your early finish. Early finish will be 1 plus 5 is equal to 6 and 6 minus 1 is equal to 5. So, early finish date is 5. In same way, we need to calculate early start value. Which formula do you have to calculate its early start? It is early finish of predecessor plus 1 means 5 plus 1 is equal to 6. So its value will be 6. Again we need to calculate its early finish. 6 plus 6 is equal to 12 and 12 minus 1 is 11. So this way you can calculate every one's early start and early finish. Similarly, when you reach here, then your 18 is coming here. Okay, it is already calculated in this. You must have understood how to calculate early start and early finish. Okay, so as soon as your early start and early finish is calculated, and you can calculate the predecessor and calculate its forward direction, now we have to do the reverse direction calculation. We have to calculate the reverse direction from this side. So in this you have to calculate late finish and late start. So what is the formula for late finish? Late finish of current activity minus D plus 1. 18 minus D means how much is the duration? 0. Because the day it starts, the day it ends. So 0 plus 1, okay, it will be 18 plus 1 minus 1 means your total late finish value will be 18. Then we will come here, you have to calculate late finish. So to calculate late finish, we need to use the formula of LS of successor minus 1. LS of successor means 18 minus 1 is equal to 17. So here what is the result? 17. And from 17 we have to calculate this. So 17 minus 2 plus 1 means this is 16. So here you have 16. You can calculate it like, if you calculate it, then it will be 15. 16 minus 1 is equal to 15. And if you do 15 minus 3, then your value will be 13. Which means that your project will start on 13th. You don't need to start it directly on 12th. You can also calculate it like this. This is reverse method in which you can calculate. This is reverse method. So now what I have to do is to take out total float, or I have to take out float in this. Total duration is 18 days and I have to calculate its free float. So this free float is calculated as 1. What is the formula of free float? FF is equal to ES of successor minus EFC minus 1. Early start of the successor minus early finish of the current value. 16 minus 15 is equal to 1. So this way you can calculate the values of the float by which you will get free float. And what is the formula of total float? That LS minus ES or LF minus EF means late start minus early start 13. 13 minus 2 or 15 minus 14. So what is the total float value? So you can calculate total float values in this way. This calculation that I have got a free float for 1 day. So what is my deactivation? Non-critical activity, and rest of the C activity is my critical activity. A activity is also my critical activity. But what is my deactivation? Non-critical activity, because it has a 1 day free flow time. If I have start 1 day late, then also there will be no problem in that. But if expect that activity, the rest of the activities are all critical activities except D. A, B, C, E, F. These activities are critical activities. So the flow of these critical activities is called critical path, which goes from A to B, B to C, C to E, E to F. So this path is your critical path because there is no free float in it. And non-critical path means which is the flow which you get continuously rest of the activities. The upcoming activities, it will not have any effect on it. So what we call it A, B, D, E, F means non-critical path. Okay. So in that we will see the diagram which is critical path and which is non-critical path. So this path is your critical, which you can see in yellow color, and second is your green path, which is non-critical path. I hope you have understand CPM method and network diagram.